carpal tunnel, unfortunately, is becoming very common these days. From using phones, from working on the computer, all of that stuff can really cause carpal tunnel. So it's a common thing that walks into my office. For carpal tunnel, there is a great self-care routine. I'm just going to show you a few tips that you can do to really take care of yourself. So one thing that I love to have my patients do is what's called self-myofascial release. So essentially what we're doing is we're just trying to loosen up the muscles in the forearm and in the wrist. So what I have them do is they take their other hand and they put it on the muscles that are leading up into the wrist. You don't want to put it directly over the middle of the wrist, but more on the sides. And what you do is you kind of bend your wrist up, and then you just apply a little bit of pressure with the thumb, and then you come on down, and you're going to feel a big stretch all the way through here, and maybe even up into the palm, depending on how tight you are. And so I love to have people just doing this myofascial release just to try and get things loosened up. You do it on not just the out, or I guess this is the inside of the wrist. You also do it on the outside of the wrist. And just doing that really helps to loosen it up. The other thing that I like to do is I like to have people do isometric exercises. So isometric exercises are the basis of a lot of rehab programs, and this is true for carpal tunnel as well. What I have people do is they make a fist, they're going to hold that position, and they're not going to let the wrist move. And what you do with the other hand, you apply pressure down, and you're applying a decent amount of pressure, but you're not letting the wrist move. And what you do is you try and isolate the area, and you'll just hold that until your wrist really starts to shake. That's when we see fatigue. And so I generally have people do, 3 sets of that, every other day. And that can really help to strengthen up some of the muscles in the area where that might be a problem. So really what we're working on is we want to work on mobility of the wrist while at the same time strengthening the wrist, just like pretty much any other joint in the body. I hope that's been helpful, and I hope you enjoyed this video.